a drop-in-the-bucket reparations and the price of America's sins. The specter of slavery continues to haunt America. Its legacy, etched in the very fabric of this nation, manifests in the stark racial disparities that persist to this day. From economic inequality to healthcare disparities, Black Americans bear the brunt of a system built on their ancestors' unpaid labor. Recently, the state of California has stepped into this fraught arena, announcing a $12 million reparations fund for descendants of slaves. This move, while lauded by some as a step in the right direction, has also ignited a firestorm of debate, with critics questioning its effectiveness and impact. Is this a genuine attempt to address the enduring legacy of slavery, or is it merely a symbolic gesture, a drop in the bucket compared to the immensity of the debt owed? The debate over reparations is ultimately a debate about the soul of America. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our history and the enduring legacy of racial injustice. The time for reckoning is now. The time for justice is long overdue. The Golden State's reckoning, a $12 million promise. California, a state often associated with progress and innovation, has taken a bold step by establishing a $12 million reparations fund. This initiative, born from the recommendations of a state-appointed task force, seeks to address the enduring harms of slavery and its legacy of systemic racism.
It acknowledges, in a very public and official manner, the state's role in perpetuating racial injustice and signals a willingness to take concrete steps towards repair.
The fund's creation has sparked a national conversation, prompting other states and municipalities to grapple with their own histories of racial oppression and the potential for reparative justice. While the road to true equity remains long and arduous, California's initiative serves as a beacon of hope. A chorus of discontent, doubts and criticisms of the Reparations Fund. The announcement of California's Reparations Fund has been met with mixed reactions, ranging from cautious optimism to outright condemnation. Critics, including some economists and conservative lawmakers, have questioned the initiative's efficacy, arguing that the allocated funds are insufficient to address the vast scope of the issue.
Despite these criticisms, the reparations movement continues to gain traction, fueled by a growing awareness of the persistent legacy of slavery and systemic racism. Proponents argue that reparations are not simply about financial compensation, but about acknowledging the historical wrongs inflicted upon Black Americans and taking concrete steps to dismantle the structures of inequality that persist to this day.
The debate over reparations is complex and multifaceted, reflecting deep-seated divisions within American society about race, history, and the meaning of justice. The government's perspective, seeking justice and healing. California Governor Gavin Newsom, a vocal advocate for social justice, has championed the reparations initiative as a crucial step towards acknowledging and addressing the state's role in perpetuating racial inequality. He emphasized that the $12 million fund is merely a starting point, a down payment on a much larger commitment to achieving racial justice.
The government's perspective is clear. Reparations are not merely a symbolic gesture, but a concrete step towards dismantling the structures of systemic racism that continue to plague American society.
The California Reparations Initiative represents a bold experiment in social policy, one that is being closely watched by other states and municipalities grappling with their own histories of racial injustice. Whether this initiative will succeed in its ambitious goals remains to be seen. Section 5. Woefully inadequate. Expert opinions on the reparations amount. While the California Reparations Initiative has been praised for its symbolic significance, many experts, including economists and historians, have criticized the allocated $12 million as woefully inadequate.
They argue that this figure represents a mere fraction of the economic losses suffered by Black Americans as a direct result of centuries of exploitation and discrimination.
Economists have attempted to quantify the economic impact of slavery, factoring in unpaid labor, land dispossession, and the generational wealth gap.
These experts argue that true reparations would necessitate a much larger investment, one that reflects the scale and scope of the harm inflicted. While there may not be a perfect solution, experts agree that California's initiative, while a step in the right direction, falls short of what is needed to truly address the enduring legacy of slavery and systemic racism.
Section 6. Voices from the community. Reparations as a starting point, not a solution. Within Black communities across California, the response to the Reparations initiative has been mixed, reflecting the diversity of experiences and perspectives within this demographic.
While many welcome the initiative as a long overdue acknowledgement of the harms inflicted by slavery and systemic racism, others view it with skepticism, questioning its ability to deliver meaningful change.
Some community members have expressed concerns about the criteria used to determine eligibility for reparations, fearing that many deserving individuals and families may be excluded.
Despite these reservations, there is a palpable sense of hope within many Black communities that the California initiative signals a turning point in the fight for racial justice. The voices of Black Californians, diverse and often conflicting, will be crucial in shaping the future of the reparations movement and the broader fight for racial justice.
Section 7, the economics of reparations, distribution, and potential impact. The implementation of California's Reparations initiative raises complex economic questions about how the funds will be distributed and their potential impact on both individual recipients and the state's economy as a whole.
The task force responsible for designing the initiative has proposed various models, ranging from direct cash payments to investments in education, healthcare, and housing.
Direct cash payments, while offering immediate financial relief to recipients, could face criticism for being a short-term solution that fails to address systemic issues.
However, such programs require careful planning and execution to ensure their effectiveness. By investing in these communities, the state could create jobs, support local businesses, and generate economic activity that benefits all Californians.
Section 8, America's Original Sin, the Legacy of Slavery and Systemic Racism. To fully comprehend the significance of the California Reparations Initiative, one must delve into the dark heart of American history, the institution of slavery and its enduring legacy of systemic racism. For over 2 centuries, millions of Africans were forcibly brought to America, stripped of their humanity and subjected to unspeakable horrors. The abolition of slavery in 1865 did not erase the deep scars of this brutal chapter in American history.
The legacy of slavery is not merely a historical artifact, but a living reality for millions of Black Americans who continue to grapple with its consequences.
Section 9, the unfinished fight from symbolic gestures to systemic change. While the California Reparations Initiative represents a significant milestone in the fight for racial justice, it is essential to recognize that true equity cannot be achieved through symbolic gestures alone. Addressing the deep-seated and multifaceted legacy of slavery and systemic racism requires a comprehensive and sustained commitment to dismantling the structures that perpetuate inequality.
Education, often hailed as the great equalizer, remains deeply unequal in America.
The criminal justice system, from policing to sentencing to incarceration, is rife with racial bias. Reforming this system requires addressing implicit bias in policing, eliminating cash bail, implementing sentencing reforms, and investing in re-entry programs that support formerly incarcerated individuals. Section 10, a call to action, moving beyond reparations to achieve racial justice. The California Reparations Initiative, while imperfect, provides a framework for other states and municipalities to grapple with their own histories of racial injustice and to explore tangible ways to address the enduring legacy of slavery. However, true progress requires moving beyond symbolic gestures and engaging in the difficult and uncomfortable work of dismantling systemic racism. This is not simply the responsibility of government, but a collective responsibility that demands the active participation of all Americans. Corporations can examine their hiring practices, invest in diversity and inclusion initiatives, and support businesses owned by people of color. The fight for racial justice is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires sustained commitment, unwavering determination, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. Section 11. Conclusion: the long road to repair. The California Reparations Initiative, while sparking controversy and debate, has undeniably brought the issue of racial justice to the forefront of the national conversation. It serves as a potent reminder of the enduring legacy of slavery and systemic racism in America and the urgent need for reparative action. True reparations extend beyond financial compensation, encompassing a multifaceted approach that addresses the systemic inequalities deeply embedded in American society. The journey towards racial justice is long and arduous, requiring a collective effort from individuals, communities, and institutions alike. Only through sustained effort and a shared commitment to dismantling the structures of inequality can we hope to create a future where all Americans have the opportunity to thrive, regardless of the color of their skin.